Look, they gave us a standing ovation, that's very sweet. Do you know what, should we just stand up?
I think we should stand up. Thank you.
People seem to love it.
Yeah, thank you. That could have been super awkward. I didn't like it. Congratulations.
But it was neat to see that you were standing beside the stage and watching people's reaction. So
No, I was not watching people's reaction. I was actually trying to see if I could sing the songs in the original keys, because we got to start, yeah. And it was loud enough, and I don't play this record at home, you know, so it was loud enough that I could try singing it back there. But I was trying to remember some of the lyrics so we could talk about it, because I haven't listened to it for a while.
cool. So when was the last time you listened to this record in one piece?
Yeah, as a whole record, I mean, we didn't even do it just now. It's quite a hard thing to do once you've already made a record, but it was probably 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago. And I've never had the experience of making a record and finishing it, and then hearing it 6 or 9 months later and feeling completely happy. Like, this is, you know, I mean, no pressure on you, because you can do whatever you want with it now, but it's definitely my favourite thing we've ever done. So you know, I feel really fulfilled. Yeah.
So one of the first things that stands out is there's just 11 months between Rushmere and this record. Shortest time spent ever in your career. How come?
Well, it's a good question. Like I kind of said in the introduction, we got started with Rushmere and found ourselves just like, there was just a big well of music really coming up. And Aaron showed up on this last day of making Rushmere, played us a song that he had been working on with Bonnie Vare, Justin Vernon, and a couple of other ideas that those guys have been working on. Aaron is like a creative, you know, he's just the most creative man we've ever met. He makes music all day long with his friends in his studio, and you know, we just happened to sort of hear some of these ideas he played to us. I think he had us in mind for one or two of them, and literally within half an hour we were kind of making this album. And there were a few different sort of chapters to it, but the bulk of it really happened at his studio, Long Pond, upstate New York. It was a sort of 2-weekish experience, and it was just like freedom, creative freedom, no unboundaried, you know, just fluid music making. So nice.
So, you've known Aaron for quite a while, 10 years or so.
Yeah, longer, yeah.
So, at what point was it clear to you that he has to be the producer for this record?
It was funny, man. It was like the only intention we had from the first day we saw him at the studio was just to keep being creatively curious and see what would happen. We had Rushmere finished, and then it was just like, well, we'll just make music for fun, like we used to, and like he does all the time. And so we did. That first day, he showed us a sketch for Prizefighter and a sketch for the banjo song, and I started writing lyrics down straight away. I was really inspired by them, and then basically I chased him around the world for a bit. I followed him to Paris, and we did Rubber Band Man. I followed him down to Biarritz, and we did started Run Together, and then we went to the UK. He was headlining the other stage at Glastonbury with the National, and I knew that, and I live about an hour and a half away from there, and I was like, look mate, if I promise to give you a lift in my car from my house to Glastonbury, I'll get you there on time, I promise, and I'll wait while you play the show, and then I'll drive you back. Can we do a couple of days at my studio? And that's where we got here.
And then your restraining order came.
I didn't even watch this fucking show because England were playing in the World Cup. Then we beat Slovakia. Jude Bellingham scored an absolute blinder. And then I drove him home, and we just kept. It was like we were dating. It was like we'd just fallen in love. And you know when you can't get enough, and you're just like you know. It was like that, but with songs. And by the time that period was over, we had like 5 songs that we loved, and we knew we wanted to keep going because we hadn't finished scratching the itch. And it felt like a record that we suddenly were making. You know, we weren't really making an album. It was a stupid thing to do. We just finished a fucking album. But because it felt so good, we just kept going. And it was instinctive in the way that our band was instinctive in 2007. You know, that's what it feels like to me, because... Yeah. And we were just doing it for the love of the game. And then we went to Long Pond, and songs like Conversation with My Son, Gangsters and Angels, they just fell out. That took like an hour to write that song, which is like what it took to write Awake My Soul or Little Lion Man. And with those songs, we had to commit to the structure and the lyrics quite early, because Little Lion Man we wrote in the morning, and we had to play it at a gig that night at ICA in London, back in whatever year that was, 2008 or something. And this was the same. We'd write in the morning, we'd record it in the afternoon and commit. And I think part of the committing comes from a place of confidence that we got back through Rushmere and through the process of being with Pharrell Williams and getting our confidence back as a band, you know.
So, did Aaron also play on the record?
Yeah, all over it. Couldn't stop him, yeah. He joined our band for that time, you know, because he plays this amazing role as a writer and as a producer and as a player. But we've also never worked with a producer that's known us for this long and been a supporter of our band for this long, you know. And I got to see inside his process when he was making the Taylor Swift record, and they came and did a bit in my house, and you know, I got to see how he works, and it's so inspiring. And he's the brother we needed at this moment in our band, as Pharrell was last summer for us, honestly, and Dave Cobb was before that. So people come alongside our band who love it, but he had loved us for a really long time, and so he kind of, yeah, he was able to write and produce. We'd never written with anyone else before.
Yeah,
really.
right.
So it was cool.
He needs more arms.
Yeah.
It should be like an octopus, like playing and engineering and doing all the things. Yeah.
Great guy, definitely.
Great guy, so many arms.
You mentioned Prizefighter, the title track, which is gorgeous. Speaking about the album's title, why is Prizefighter the perfect title for this record?
You said so.
Well, it's where it began.
So eloquent.
It's where it began, you know, when Aaron played us this idea that he and Justin had, I instantly had in my head, because Justin had a lyric on the chorus which was about taking a piece of the sky down with me. I thought that's such like a Titanic thing to say, and it felt like there was a sense of longing that was not just looking back but looking ahead. And that mixture of nostalgia and ambition, I felt like conjured up a character to me who was walking around the streets of Soho in London, like I have a few times, heartbroken and in love at the same time, and feeling like this sense of drive to get up and fight for something. And I think that's what, you know, it feels like we're doing again. So,
take it low, get up again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This